to say, and that's it. Carmen Hall is going to give you a brief introduction, and we're going to watch a video, and then we're going to hear your comments. Roll call from Jill.
Jay Pendergast,
I'm here.
Pat Northey. Here. Jeffrey Alt.
Here.
Sarah Lee Morrissey. Here. Pat Patterson.
Here.
David Romeo.
Here.
Reggie Santilli. Stacy Simmons. Jack Surratt.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to our fourth listening session for ECHO. As Jay said, we are very excited to hear what everyone has to say tonight. But first, we are going to watch an ECHO PowerPoint. It was pre-recorded, so it's a PowerPoint, and then there's also an ECHO video that goes over the history of ECHO, and it also, sorry, I'll try to speak louder. The history of ECHO and our current processes, and then it goes over also recommendations from our internal audit, and then also some of our ECHO Advisory Committee members. And then we'll have an opportunity for everybody to provide their public comment, and then also for the committee to ask questions as necessary. All right, so thank you.
Welcome to today's ECHO presentation. Today we're going to give you a brief history of ECHO, show you the ECHO video, go over the ECHO processes for the various grant programs, talk about the recommendations from both the auditor and the advisory committee, and then hear from you with public comments and questions. What is ECHO? Volusia ECHO provides grant funds to finance acquisition, restoration, construction, or improvement of facilities to be used for environmental, cultural, historical, and outdoor recreational purposes. The Volusia ECHO program, generated by a grassroots initiative, resulted from a citizen-approved referendum passed November 7th of 2000. On November 3rd, 2020, Volusia County voters reauthorized the program for another 20 years.
And again, once we got that ECHO funding and we were able to have a building, it really did provide this location and home for us. And so
it was instrumental to have the ECHO funding to be able to continue with our programs and also which preservation is part of our mission as well.
We give credit to the ECHO for being able to provide the assistance to the finance to be able to have such a facility in this community.
These are legacy projects that me, everybody who's involved in them have left for the next generation. We have projects across the county that next generation are going to value and love and take care of because we've laid the groundwork as a community. And that's really the really neat thing about ECHO is that it is a community-driven initiative.
In 1998, Volusia County residents and community leaders brought to the County Council a funding idea to enhance environmental, cultural, historic, and outdoor opportunities. Community members identified goals, purposes, and objectives during multiple meetings.
We formed a committee. We went out and did listening sessions around the county and listened to what the people said. If we vote for this, here's what we want you to do. Here's what we want you to spend the money on.
This groundswell of support motivated the County Council to approve a resolution to add Volusia ECHO to the 2000 ballot. With this passage, voters agreed to contribute 20 cents on each $1,000 of taxable value toward the fund. Today, the average homeowner pays less than $25 a year for the ECHO fund. The funding is used for the acquisition, restoration, construction, and improvement of environmental, cultural, historic, and outdoor recreation projects throughout the county. Eligible applicants are Volusia County cities, nonprofits, and county departments that meet established criteria. The ECHO Advisory Committee recommends grant awards to the County Council for final approval. The County Council also can direct expenditures for county projects deemed of broad community significance. Since 2001, 229 awards exceeding $88 million have been made. Grantees provided significant matches and assets and cash exceeding $147 million. This brings the total investment to $235 million. Volusia County has a diverse and delicate ecosystem ranging from low beach and marsh areas to high and dry pine forests. Educating the public about our environment is a key factor in maintaining a healthy, sustainable community. Since 2001, ECHO Awards have supported environmental learning centers and education habitats. These facilities teach the public about the importance of maintaining ecosystems while meeting the demands of our growing population. Projects have included the Central Park Environmental Learning Center in Ormond Beach, the Lyonia Environmental Center in Deltona, and the Marine Discovery Center in New Smyrna Beach.
All of us are thinking when we're pie in the sky, we're thinking of money because that's always the first barrier. And so ECHO really helps take that away. Now, as you know, ECHO doesn't provide operational support. What it provides is support for the capital brick and mortar projects. And so for us, when we're going through these planning phases, we'll look at, okay, what are our sources of funding available? And that helps us determine, what's feasible and how do we phase it when. We've gone from seeing, a few thousand a year to seeing well over 30,000 a year. And ECHO has been a big part of that because of having a facility.
Cultural activities improve quality of life and bring the community together to experience the arts. In turn, the arts increase the county's tourism-based economy and encourage redevelopment in our own downtown and urban areas. Museums, theaters, art centers, and community gathering places have received ECHO grants. Some of the more notable projects include the Little Theater of New Smyrna Beach, the Museum of Arts and Science in Daytona Beach, and the African American Museum in DeLand.
When the amphitheater came up, when it was opening was in 2004, that was phase 1. Well, there was a phase 2, and the phase 2 is to construct a new museum, because that is our big dream. Because if you can do it once, surely you can do it again. So that is how I feel about the ECHO.
Volusia County is home to over 200 sites on the National Register of Historic Places. They include downtown neighborhoods, individual buildings, archaeological sites, and agricultural and educational districts. ECHO funds have enabled the acquisition, stabilization, or restoration of many of our historic properties. Examples are Lillian Place in Daytona Beach, Athens Theater in DeLand, and the Pioneer Art Settlement in Barberville.
There's very few people that went to school in Volusia County in elementary school that don't remember coming here on a field trip and dipping candles or feeding the animals. So we hear it a lot. People are coming back now with their children and saying, oh, I remember coming here as a kid and I love it here. So I think our impact on the county is probably more than we actually even realize.
In 2010, the Florida Trust for Historic Preservation awarded Volusia County the Outstanding Organization Achievement Award for its commitment to historic preservation through the ECHO program.
Without the ECHO funds, the settlement, I can't even imagine what it would be, because the 2 buildings that the ECHO funds have helped us with are so important to our existence.
Outdoor recreation is an important facet in the lives of our residents and visitors. Volusia County's abundance of natural resources are an important asset to our extensive and vibrant park system. ECHO funds have been used for trails, parks, sports complexes, dog parks, pools, playgrounds, beach and water access, and many other projects. From Andy Romano Beachfront Park in Ormond Beach to Rob Sullivan Park in DeBary, every area in Volusia County has benefited from ECHO funds. In 2004, the Volusia County Council initiated an annual $1 million commitment to our trails from the ECHO program funds. These dollars are used with state and federal funds for the development of Volusia County's Showcase Trail System.
We are ground zero. We've got on the east side, we have Edgewater, New Smyrna Beach, which will benefit tourism-wise. And then here, DeBary will have that too, because the trail will split. It'll go off to Seminole Lake County from here, and it'll go north to Putnam County from here. So we are well positioned to take advantage of that $20 million investment long-term.
Today, the county's major trail systems are the St. Johns River to Sea Loop and the Coast to Coast Trail. When finished, they will stretch across 108 miles throughout Volusia County. Since 2001, more than $88 million have been awarded to 229 ECHO grant recipients. But the impact goes beyond mere numbers. Nearly a generation ago, civic leaders recognized the need to preserve and enhance our quality of life, not only for the current residents, but for the future generations. Through continuous efforts, the ECHO program has created a distinguished legacy in this county and an unparalleled gift for the community.
It's a fabulous program. It is driven by the community. It's their investment, and they should be very proud of the fact that in 2000 they overwhelmingly supported to tax themselves for this. That's a big deal.
There are 4 ECHO project types. Environmental. ECHO funds support development of environmental learning centers which educate about how lifestyle decisions affect our environment and future sustainability. Volusia County is a diverse and delicate ecosystem ranging from low beach and marsh areas to high and dry pine forests. Cultural. ECHO funds the construction of cultural facilities that play an important role in improving the quality of life for our citizens. The arts increase the county's tourism-based economy and encourage redevelopment in our downtown and urban areas. Historic. Volusia County is home to over 200 sites listed on the National Register of Historic Places. ECHO policies were approved to encourage restoration and acquisition of these endangered facilities. Outdoor recreation. Outdoor recreation, and especially in our parks, plays an important role in improving quality of life. Additionally, our trail system meanders as a linear park throughout Volusia County. The standard ECHO project process. Standard projects have a maximum grant award of $400,000 and require a 1-to-1 match. Mandatory workshops. A representative from the applicant must attend a workshop. Next is the technical completeness application. All applicants are required to submit a complete technical completeness application. Staff will review this application and provide each applicant with a technical review prior to the final application deadline. The final application. All applicants are required to submit a final application. A clean hand search will be completed on each applicant. The clean hands requirement stipulates that the applicant, its officers, and/or significant stakeholders must be in compliance with all Volusia County codes and have no outstanding past due debt with the County of Volusia in order to be eligible to receive an ECHO grant. Site visits and eligibility meeting. The ECHO Advisory Committee shall visit each applicant's project site. It is mandatory that the applicant's representative is in attendance to answer questions. Grant Review Panel Meeting. The ECHO Advisory Committee sits as the grant review panel to review and score all eligible applications. An application must score an average of an 80 or above to be recommended to County Council, pending funding availability. It is mandatory that the applicant's representative is in attendance. The ECHO Advisory Committee makes recommendation for approval or denial to the County Council. The County Council makes a final determination on grant award. Eligibility requirements. The applicant must be a Volusia County government, municipal government in Volusia County, or a not-for-profit 501c3 that meets certain criteria. First, must be incorporated within the state of Volusia and classified as a 501c3, maintained incorporated status for more than 2 years prior to the application deadline, or incorporated with the state of Florida for less than 2 years at the time of the application deadline, but has provided operations in Volusia County for a minimum of 10 years and provided the most recent 5 years of independent certified audits and management letters, or is a registered foreign corporation doing business in the state of Florida with a local group within Volusia County that can provide evidence of public service to Volusia County citizens for the 5-year period prior to the ECHO application deadline. They must also demonstrate 5 years of 501c3 status in its state of incorporation. The applicant must not owe the county any money or have any outstanding code violations. They must have satisfied all administrative requirements of previous grants agreements received from or administered by the County of Volusia. And they must also agree to the match as outlined in the documents. ECHO funds are to be used solely to finance acquisition, restoration, construction, and improvement of environmental, ecological, cultural, historical heritage, and outdoor recreation facilities for public use. Only one application for the same project, facility, complex, or site will be accepted in a single grant cycle. There may be no more than 2 open ECHO grant awards per project site. Projects should not duplicate each other or an existing or planned ECHO-related function in the same area of service. Projects solely for depreciable items with less life expectancy than the required grant agreement period are ineligible. Clean hands. The ECHO staff will conduct a clean hand search prior to determining eligibility. We recommend that applicants request a clean hand search prior to submitting an ECHO grant application. Public access and ownership. The project must be accessible to the public for a period of 40 years from execution of the grant agreement. Public access to the project must be 3 years for a standard grant and 4 years for an exceptional grant. Documentation of ownership or lease must be for at least 40 years. The following are not eligible: only access to the exterior of a building, intended for students, faculty, or staff, intended to augment or support curriculum, multi-use campuses, complexes with no designated parking. The exceptional grant process. A project of paramount and crucial countywide importance provides services to all areas of the county. A maximum of $1.8 million or $600,000 each year for 3 years with a match requirement of 4-to-1. All other parts of the grant process remain the same as the standard grant, including the ECHO workshop, technical completeness application, final application, site visits, eligibility meeting, grant review panel meeting, and final award by the County Council. Exceptional grant examples include Earl Brown Park in DeLand and the Museum of Arts and Sciences in Daytona Beach. Critical Historic Acquisition and/or Stabilization Grant. This program was approved in July 2009 to address the immediate need to acquire and/or stabilize historic buildings outside of the standard grant cycle. The process for this grant is similar to the process used for a standard grant application. The difference is the applicant's responsibility to provide credible evidence of the importance of the historic project, the need for immediate intervention, and the ability to fully support the operations. The maximum award is $600,000 and requires a 1-to-1 match. Direct county expenditure process. Resolution 2001-56 allows for the County Council to fund projects by direct county expenditure for county government projects or by grant and aid awards. Resolution 2013-202 states the County Council will present direct county expenditures of ECHO funds to the ECHO Advisory Committee for review. Internal audit. On May 11, 2020, the county's internal auditor presented the ECHO internal audit report and made recommendations to the County Council. On June 25th and July 30th, 2020, the ECHO Advisory Committee reviewed those recommendations, accepted them, and made recommendations of their own. This presentation lays out both sets of recommendations. Increase the standard grant award from $400,000 to $600,000 annually. The source of that recommendation is from the audit and from the committee. Reduce the percentage of cash match required for nonprofit organizations depending on the nonprofit size. The source, again, was from the audit and the committee. For the cash match, the percentage is reduced from 50% and is dependent on the nonprofit size. The guidelines to determine the size of the nonprofit match, the guidelines of the audit requirements for nonprofits are as follows. The average of the last 3 fiscal years' operating revenues or expenses is used to determine the percentage of cash match that must be provided. If the annual average of the 3 fiscal years completed prior to the application deadline is $500,000 or greater, the applicant must provide 40% of overall match in unencumbered cash or expenditures. If the annual average of the 3 fiscal years completed prior to the application deadline is less than $500,000 and greater than $250,000, the applicant must provide 30% of overall match in unencumbered cash or expenditures. And if the annual average of the 3 fiscal years completed prior to the application deadline is less than $250,000, then the applicant must provide 20% of overall match in unencumbered cash or expenditures. Include language that requires staff internal final completeness review to include if a project has public accessibility regardless of anticipated future phases. The source was the audit. Increase exceptional awards from $1.8 million to $2 million. The $1.8 million is with a distribution of up to $600,000 for up to 3 consecutive years. The change would recommend that $2 million with a distribution over a 3-year period, but doesn't limit the amount per year. This still requires that the exceptional project has a regional impact. Additionally, we would change the match requirements for exceptional awards from 4-to-1 to 1-to-1. Currently, an applicant that would receive $1.8 million would have to provide 4 times that amount, or $7.2 million in match. In the proposed change, they would only have to provide $1 for every dollar requested. For a $1.8 million application, that would be $1.8 million in match. An applicant may only have 3 open projects at one time. The source of this recommendation is the committee. The next recommendation is for a standard 20-year time frame for documentation of undistributed use of property and/or buildings. The current time frame depends on the type of project. A restoration renovation project requires 30 years. Expansion addition projects, 30 years, and new facilities require 40 years of undistributed use of property and/or building sources. The current time frame depends on the type of project. Restoration renovation projects are for 30 years. Expansion and addition projects also 30 years, and new facilities are 40 years. This recommendation would require 20-year time frame from documentation of undistributed use of property and/or buildings. The source is the committee. The public access changed from 4 years from award to 3 years from award for a standard grant. Public access changed from 4 years from the dates of last award to 4 years from initial award for an exceptional grant. Construction documentation requirements were elaborated to ensure projects are ready to move forward if awarded a grant. Source, the committee. Require the business plan, feasibility study, and marketing plans to be specific to Volusia County. Source, committee. Remove the requirement for exceptional projects to be in the top 2 of the regular standard grant cycles. Source, committee. Include language that requires the clean hand search is maintained in the project file. Source, the audit. Require ECHO grant agreements to be executed by the applicant prior to county council approval. If approved, the county council will execute the agreement on the date of approval. Source, the audit and committee. Require that proof of a performance bond naming Volusia County as a co-obligee be submitted before a notice to proceed is issued. Require the Volusia County logo and ECHO logo to appear on the project and applicant website and in all media, print or electronic for the project within 90 days of award. Source, the committee. Include language that any extension requiring more than an additional 365 days beyond the time period will be reviewed only twice a year. Include language that a summary of the quarterly reports will be provided to the ECHO Advisory Committee. If quarterly reports are not submitted or not submitted timely for 2 consecutive quarters, the grantee will be required to attend an ECHO Advisory Committee meeting and provide a status update. Quarterly reports are due on the 15th day after the end of the quarter. Include language that site visit and completion of a monitoring worksheet will occur at least twice a year during the construction phase. Source, audit, and committee. Include language that projects will be visited and a completion of a monitoring worksheet will be completed on a tri-annual basis. If there are concerns, a site visit will be completed on an annual basis or more frequently if warranted, until the project receives 3 consecutive clean monitoring reports. Source, audit, and committee.
Okay, so now we're going to start public comment. If you have not submitted your yellow card, if you can please just hand those in now. And Jill will call out everybody's name, and we do have a clock at the front. We'll start the 3 minutes, and you can start your public comment period at that time. If you can just wait for me to walk over to you with the microphone, because we do have people who are listening from home. That way they can hear what you're saying. Okay? Is it not working? It is. All right.
What about questions rather than statements? I mean, I thought that was part of the advertisement for this meeting.
Yep.
It's an opportunity for the public to ask questions that you can't, I mean, how do the 3 minutes work?
If we will work with you and allow time for us to ask questions, okay? Does anybody else have a yellow card right now? No? Okay.
John Nicholson.
Where's your card? Okay. John Nicholson, Daytona Beach side. A couple of things. One,
Test, 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 test.
You test it? Working? There it goes. John Nicholson, Beachside. It's not? There you go. You got to hold it real close. I know you guys don't like flexibility, and you like the one-to-one match, and there are all kinds of things that, over time, we've determined would be of benefit. And but I'm asking you for a little flexibility, and I recognize that in that there were some young ladies that wanted to save part of the loop, and they raised like $15,000, and the cost was like almost $1 million. So there's no way in Hades that they could do it, but popularity-wise, almost the entire population would want the loop saved. It was a big idea. The width of it was in question. Do you need to save just 50 feet of it or 100 feet of it or just the trees that go over the road? Personally, I don't want to see any houses. I don't want to see any advertisement. I don't want to see any barbecue joints, anything of that nature. When you go down the loop, it's the outdoor, okay? So they didn't have an opportunity to do that. A lot of the smaller nonprofits don't have the ability to do a one-to-one on match, especially in the black community. They can't do it. So if there's an object or a idea or a building that needs to be saved and they can't raise the money, then we have to work with them. I think there was a, can't remember what type of a building it was, but it was in the historic black district, and they couldn't get the funding, the matching, and it had to be torn down. Masonic Lodge, thank you. And so those kinds of things should not happen. There was a reason to save the Masonic Lodge, and we have to bend over backwards to do it. So I'm asking you to find a little bit of wiggle room when you write your little ideas on what you want to do for ECHO, that there be a wiggle room. Secondly, it came across in the old ECHO that the county took over ECHO. Sorry, Pat. But there was one county commissioner that wanted to have trails all over the place. So the west side of the county got trails, the south side of the county got trails, and the east got nothing. All right? That didn't bother me as much as the idea that it was $1 million a year taken out of ECHO for trails. And then they wanted beach parking. There was money taken out every year for beach parking. 20 years ago, we never thought that that would happen. The county was equal to all of the cities and states and all of the nonprofits. It didn't work out that way. So I'm asking you to make sure that the money given to the county balances out with what the money they gave to everybody else. Thank you.
Big. I think they switched it. It
Huh?
should
What's
test
that?
it out. They just switched it.
Yeah, no, that lady up there.
Oh,
Are you ranking member tonight? Yeah. So very nice. Tell Butler I miss her, okay? Oh, she's listening. Good. So I came to Ormond, and by the way, I came all the way from Ormond down to City Island, and I'm here, I think, sooner than I could get from Ormond to the Ormond Library because all the doors were locked, and I had to do this marathon walk all the way around the entire, right? So thank you for making it more accessible. That's a county word, isn't it? So do I say my name? Should I?
We have it on the record.
Okay. So I asked y'all last week about this very special ECHO project called The Loop. And I don't understand why it's not under forever, but Princess Patty said they got 27,000 rules and they were able to get rid of it. So you got stuck with it. But it seems to be somewhat inequitable. I hope that's not too big a word for the Republicans, but you're matching the ECHO money with county money because you said it's a county project. So I would like a public records request who initiated the project, who was a person. You don't have to tell me now if you don't want to. That's okay. And then why are you doing it now? I know Parker's got a time limit, but see, Holly Hill's ready to go with phase 2 of Pictona. But you are not going to allow Holly Hill to put in an application until fall, let's say September or October. Holly Hill's ready to go now, and the Martens, which love pickleball more than anything else in the world, they are thinking about spending their money rather than making an application to ECHO. And I think that would be a terrible shame. I think they're going to ask for 200,000, although I'm not qualified to tell you exactly what they're, but it wouldn't be over 400,000. And, but is there any way that this board, and by the way, Prendergast, that's, you're like the boss, right? Prendergast, is that you? You're breathing? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I am breathing.
Well, Princess Patty told me you were a very nice person, but you tended to be a little quiet. So, but you're a very nice person. So if she thinks you're a nice person, I'll go along with it. But I think you guys should make a way for special projects. One of your most successful projects was Pictona. Is there a way for them to get the process started sooner? Thank you for listening to me. Thank you, Carl.
Kathy Thompson.
Thank you. I'm Kathy Thompson, representing Daytona Playhouse. For those of you who don't know, we've been in operation in Volusia County in Daytona Beach since 1946 in continuous operation. Our building was built in 1955. The bathrooms were built in 1955 until we finally could apply for an ECHO in 2015. Now, originally we had hoped to renovate both the front and the back of our theater. But unfortunately, because of the match requirement and because we were limited to the 400,000, we had to break it into 2 phases. So what should have cost the 2 of us about 1.3 million is now going to cost 2.2. That's what time does to construction costs. I am thrilled to see both items 1 and 2. Please do adjust the match for the nonprofits. It's the only way I can ensure we will survive another 75 years. Thank you.
Carol Anderson McLean.
Hi, I'm Carol Anderson McLean, and I'm representing Atlantic Center for the Arts. I'm their grant writer, and we just wanted to say we truly appreciate, excuse me, we truly appreciate all of the support that we have received from ECHO. We have received several ECHO grants, and it's made a huge difference in the way we can reach over 70,000 people each year through our cultural and environmental programs. I'm here today to ask that you ensure the sustainability and upgrades for nonprofit cultural organizations. We have a wonderful facility. It was constructed in the early 1980s. It needs updating, new roofing, new boardwalk. We're already ADA compliant, but we do want to make sure that everything is safe, to expand, and we truly appreciate your support. So I hope that you will ensure that we do have ways to meet that sustainability. Thank you.
Joe Sullivan.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Sullivan. Been with the Boys and Girls Club for 29 years, and we have 8 clubs right now. We operate in public-private partnerships. And I've tried 3 times. Back in the olden days in Deltona, we tried to get a piece of Section 16 by the Library Foundation, wanted to help us build a club. Then in Lake Helen, without getting in too deep into it, the county gave us a fire station. We gave it to the city with the understanding we were going to get a youth center there, and now it's a cafe or a museum or something. And then in Spring Hill, we built a new building in 2013. We had $250,000 in federal money, but the big challenge we seem to have is that we're not for everybody. We're only for kids, 6 to 18 years old. And our kids have parents. And if we know anything from this past year, there's 2 Americas. And the parents of the kids we serve, they can't work from home. They're working poor. They're ALICE. They're asset limited, income constrained. And the other big challenge I have with this is as a not-for-profit, we have to raise most of our money, do a good job and raise money, or we don't exist. The cities, God bless them, they have grant writers and they have people that they can dedicate to this that will have a job whether or not they're successful. Right now, the match is also a challenge. We have some land in New Smyrna Beach. The city gave us a fire station. We got some land donated down there so we could possibly build on that. But the other problem I had with the process is it's supposed to be a public good. And again, it's like the road out there. Everybody's supposed to have access to it. If we build a Boys and Girls Club, we're only going to serve kids. So I don't know if we still fit, but I do feel we're serving the community. I do feel we're serving the parents of those kids. And again, I'd like to go back to the drawing board with this, and just appreciate you guys having these listening sessions and being able to hear what I got to say and what everybody has to say, because it is a lot of work. And for those of us that are in the not-for-profits, we have to, again, return on investment. How much time am I going to spend? What am I going to get out of it? Is it going to be worth it? I still have 30 seconds if there's any questions for me.
Can I ask a question? Is the Boys and Girls Club not an eligible applicant?
Well, it is a 501c3, but we were told if we built something, if it was a building, the public had to have access to it at a certain level. So again, it's like a road or a toll road.
Okay, so many buildings are multi-purpose.
Mhm.
Would there, would, would there be an issue that you would have a community room or?
Well, I mean, we have these relationships with cities and other places, but I mean, we have to be open 5 days a week, 10 hours a day in the summer. So, I mean, it's hard for us to share our space with other people.
All right.
And we're only for kids. But we serve their parents. Thank you.
Gary Libby.
Good evening. I'm Gary Libby, first president of the ECHO board many, many years ago, second president, and fourth president of the ECHO board. And I was involved in the drafting of the original charter that created ECHO based on the state of Florida's cultural facilities program. And I've followed it as I've followed ECHO through the first 20 years, and I'm very proud of the tremendous success of ECHO. I think in the description initially, a question was raised about about matches. I don't believe Volusia County has to match dollar for dollar or any match at all. I think Volusia County itself, its departments are not required to match. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. No? Required, we're talking required to match, not that you might match additional tax dollars from your budget, but.
So traditionally, if the county is applying through a competitive grant cycle, they would still be required to match 1-to-1, just like any other applicant. There could be a direct county expenditure involved, which is a different category, but traditionally it is 1-to-1 through the competitive grant cycle.
The match was developed by the original committee to bring in dollars from outside of Volusia County. That's the reason for the match. And I understood when the county had a long list of very fine projects and could not, and it started with the trails, correct, Pat? Couldn't find matches, reliable matches every time. But the county receives, what, 45% of the first 20-year program, and a lot of that was without any match. Now, the reason I raise the issue is because cities are not allowed to use redevelopment funds for their match unless that's a proposed change here. And of course, that caveat affects one city, the second largest city, probably the city with the greatest need, the city of Daytona Beach. Now, I was just appointed to the Beachside Redevelopment Authority and have served on Board of Adjustments and chaired the Economic Development Committee of the county, of the city for years. And I'm wondering if there is, under the new kind of thinking, there might be some possibility for redevelopment funds in the city of Daytona Beach to be allowed to be used as match, in whole or in part, in some way. You've got some of the largest facilities, Peabody Auditorium, that needs a complete overhaul. And let me support my colleague's suggestion that life safety issues and new technology on heating and air conditioning and structures of roofs in a hurricane-prone area, these are real needs. And I am surprised that ECHO continues to be hesitant or to approach them with some degree of delicacy. I think they are on the state level allowable, and they are on the federal level as well. So I would allow you to look into new technology in the retrofitting of buildings, those that were built with ECHO funds and those that have not been. Also, please remember that one of the largest continuous trails in Volusia County is the beach. And one of the reasons the cities have been unable to get together to mount a major project to look at our beach as a trail and provide the facilities that would require is the problem of the match. And I really think that there should be some equity, some fairness, especially from municipal tax authorities who can levy a tax. Not-for-profits can't do that, but cities can, and the county can. So I would ask you to look into that. I don't know how it would upset things. I think it would probably bring forward many really fabulous grants that would affect everyone. It's hard to argue that the beach in Daytona doesn't affect every person in Volusia County. All you have to do is look at the license plates of people's cars who come to the beach and its facilities. Also, I'm wondering about a needs assessment. We're starting to get multiple service organizations in the same geographic area within 20 miles of each other. One of the things we did, Pat will remember this, in the initial ECHO program was see what we had and really what we need and try to factor that in to the considerations of applicants. I mean, is it something we need? That's in a strange way why historic preservation came in last. We didn't need that as much, at least in the first 20 years, as we did some of the public access things. Also, I'm very glad that the match has increased. I think the larger dollars on the one-for-one makes great sense, and that might bring some really good projects, large projects, to the fore. The contract that a not-for-profit or a city or the county signs with the county is really the application, is it not? And I think the data that's in the application, and I've read hundreds of them on the local level and hundreds of them on the state, thousands on the state level and probably thousands on the federal level, the data that's provided is very important. I mean, and on audit, I think the county needs to really look very carefully. Is this a public access facility? Can people enter it? And if they're limited, how are they limited? Because if you can determine how the limiting is, then you can determine if it's really a legitimate ECHO project or not. And there have been some that we're still sort of living with, that were designed for the public, that became private. And I don't think we had a very rigorous audit program. I know we didn't in the first 10 years, Pat. We had very few projects that whose feet were not held to the fire in the first 10 years. So I think that's something to look at. I've got some other questions like, can borrowed money be used as match? And there's a lot of technical things I'm very interested in that have sort of squeaked into the program that makes it, I think, unfair and not as competitive as we would like. So I'll turn in the whole list for you as well. And thank you for your indulgence.
Okay, Gary says he was the president. Gary was the godfather of the ECHO process, so he speaks from his heart and from some experience, not just at the local level, but at the state and federal level. So thank you for coming out and sharing your concerns and your hopes for this program. And we look to you to keep us straight, okay?
Okay, is there anybody else in person who would like to make a public comment? Good. Okay, do we have anyone online? Okay. If you're online, if you can please raise your hand, just hit the hand button, and then they can notice that you would like to speak, and then we'll call you out one by one.
Probably recognize Nancy Galdo. Nancy Galdo, you can go ahead and speak. Just unmute your mic. Nancy Galdo, you are recognized to speak.
Okay.
She's had her hand up the whole time, so she might have accidentally hit it. So.
Is there anyone else online who would like to speak? Okay, does the committee have any comments, questions, anything that they would like to add? Okay, just one more thing before everybody leaves. I just want to let you guys know that online at volusia.org, underneath ECHO, there is the opportunity for those who cannot attend in person or virtually. They can view the presentation that was provided tonight, and then there's also an opportunity to provide public comment and all of the questions on the recommendations and then on future ideas and just general comments and suggestions are available for submittal. All right, well,
Can I just ask, or just comment, something that Gary had said about early on in the first iteration of the program, we did have lists. People came out and said, here's what we'd like to see done. And I would just encourage anybody that has that kind of an idea to let us know so that we can be looking at that and maybe helping direct that person to an appropriate, I was going to say copay, an appropriate person that would help with that. I mean, that's really one of the things that I hope that the takeaway is. I appreciate all the stuff that's been said, but feel comfortable. If you have an idea about something, we want to hear that too. And we can do that online. You can, email any one of us, I think, so.
One of the major factors that we used to sell this program in its first iteration was the promise not to bond ECHO dollars. We knew our friends in Forever probably had to bond, get involved in bonding, but we promised not to bond. And I would love for this group to consider the significance of bonding. Unless it's really something that, like The Second Coming with the original cast, then I would bond that. But anything short of that, I think you need to be very careful not to get involved in bonding. I think it bites you back, and we only have 20 years, and I think, don't worry about great projects. I think if the cities can take a step forward and feel good about the matches and how this thing works, I think you'll get some terrific projects. A lot on the west side, Pat. Some great projects are over there. You remember when there were no soccer fields in Deltona? Yeah. Now there are. Yeah, now they're beautiful ones. So the hesitancy on the bonding, and I think looking at the matches, making it easy for the little organizations to match. They can use the value of their land up to 25%. And if they have an art museum or a science museum, they can use their collections value audited legally up to 25%. But let's make it easy for them, as easy as we can for the matches for really good projects. And that's what this board and the county council can decide. Thanks.
Well, if there's no further comments, meeting adjourned.
Wow.